Neal, we've just come off the back of a 2-1 defeat at home to Wealdstone. What were your thoughts on the game overall?
I didn't think we deserved to lose. After Saturday, where we felt like we let ourselves down, we wanted a team to be hungry, to run hard, to work hard, to do the basics a lot better. And I think we did all of that. It lacked quality at times, because when you're in that sort of mode of, trying to make sure you do everything right defensively, you're not as free in your attacking play. But Wealdstone are very confident. They've won 2 games. They come in with a swagger, and they were given a helping hand. I've watched the goal back. I think it's very soft. I think it's a soft penalty. If you start giving them, there'll be loads given in games. Goes down, minimal contact. And that's the breaks we've got. So we're 1-0 down. We keep pushing. I think end of the first half and certainly midway through the second half, we started to really ramp it up, and obviously we get ourselves back in the game. And at that point, I was just about to make the subs to try and go and win the game, with some tired bodies in there, and we just get it a little bit wrong on the edge of the box. People cover around each other, and we don't deal with the edge of the box twice. But that's the breaks when you're up against it.
Personnel wise, Tunji came in for Aiden, and it's a slight change in sort of personnel and shape. What was the thinking in terms of that lineup and formation?
Well, we conceded 7 goals in a week last week, so we've been open, and Freephone was certainly open against Scunthorpe, and we needed to start with a solid base. So we wanted to put Tunji, who can play defensive midfield, sit him in front of the back 2, try and protect, try and make sure that we were solid in that area. And again, by and large, that part of it worked. We did lack a little bit of quality at times, but I still feel like we had moments, if we don't concede the penalty, and where we can get on top of the game. So listen, I asked the lads for energy, for tempo, for effort, for everything that I thought we lacked Saturday. I thought we got that. We lacked a bit of quality at times, but football's a brutal game. When momentum's against you and it's not going well, it's very, very hard to turn it and get the wins. And we've just got to keep going and going and going.
You mentioned the subs there. I think many seemed a bit frustrated. It took till the 82nd minute, just before their winning goal, to make the subs. What was the thinking process in not making those sooner?
Well, at the time, I felt like we still had moments in us from Ollie. I thought Ollie was having a good game. When you bring players on, you have to think that they were probably bigger than us set piece wise. So Ollie was doing a zone. He's a good size. When you're bringing people off, you have to think of who's replacing them. Set pieces. At that point we was 1-1. But we then thought, let's use Josh Pace's strength to stretch them. Aiden, because we know he's got a goal in him. But we was trying to do that sub for about 3 minutes. You have to go through the set pieces with them, but we were trying to do that sub then. I felt at the time, sometimes you can make a substitution and it spins the other way a little bit. The momentum you've got, you lose. I felt like we was in a good place and we was in the ascendancy. And then we just thought, right, let's add that in. Players are starting to fatigue now. And the goal comes just as we're doing it.
I think it's 4 games in the next 15 days, starting with 2 very tough games this weekend, away at Ardley and then home to York. Where do we go from here? How do we pick ourselves up going into this weekend?
Well, that's exactly what you've got to do. We've got to try and pick ourselves up. We've got to stick together. Everybody at the club. Football's a brutal game. We had the highs of last season, which is gone now, where we only lost 3 games in whatever, and now we've lost 3 in a week. So that's football. We've got to believe in what we've got. We've got to try and add to what we've got. And like I say, it's going to be tough. York haven't got a game this weekend. Hartlepool away's a long journey. We're not going to get back till late. We've got to be travelling Friday, play Saturday, in Sunday, play Monday. So we haven't got time to feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to try and come up with a way of picking up whatever points we can in these 2 games.
Thank you, Neal.
Thank you.